Should you or should you not leave your job without a job offer in hand? Hey, this is Uday. I'm a dream job expert, and today I'm going to help you answer this question. But before I get started, you can learn more about me and what I do at udaydaher.com. You can see that on the screen now. So let's get started. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to consider before you quit your job, even if you don't have a job offer in hand. I want to tell you something. There's no wrong or right answer. Nobody can really make a decision for you. This is really something that belongs to you. You need to make that decision. All I'm trying to do here is actually show you the things that you need to consider and the things that are very important to put in your mind before you make that decision. We're going to talk in details about this. So, step number one, the reality check. You need to make sure that you really hate your job or you really don't want your job before you leave it without a job offer. That's a big thing to do. So we need to start here. We need to make sure that you cannot withstand your job. So let's do one thing. Pause this video and look for a quiz by Harvard Business Review. It's a 25 questions quiz that helps you identify how happy you are at your job. From there you can see that, oh, I'm happy here, oh, I'm not happy here, and it's pretty detailed, frankly, so you can identify if this is really how you feel or you don't feel. But let's say that you don't want to do that quiz. I'm just going to give you two questions that you can take, answer now. You can really identify by answering these two questions how happy you are at your job. So the first question is, identify the top 10 best things about your company, the company that you're working in. This is very important. You need to think positively here. What are the really good things that you find, even if they're very simple, like the salary is high, they give good insurance, the environment is amazing, whatever it is. Mention these, put them in a list on a white paper, and pause this video now and actually answer this question. Question number two, identify the top 10 worst things about the company that you're working in. And this is also important. You don't want to talk about all the good things and leave the bad things. And you don't want to talk about the bad things and leave the good things. So here we need to identify the bad things. Identify these bad things that you personally feel are bad about this company. It could be that the management is horrible, or they don't appreciate the work, or long working hours, whatever it is. Just come up with the top 10 things. And I think this is easier than actually thinking about the good things about the company. For some reason, people find that easier. So here's the checkpoint until now. If you really feel okay working in the company that you're working in, and you don't really feel that it's horrible, then I don't suggest that you leave your job. I actually think that you need to stay in your job and do your job search on the side until you actually get a job offer. And then maybe you can move. Step number two, evaluate the major factors. What I mean by the major factor is everything that anyone who is actually employed and looking for a job would have to consider before they quit their job. So the first factor here is money. Do you have enough money to support yourself in the job search period? Now, usually the job search period is about, let's say in the worst case scenario, maybe 6 to 9 months. So you need to have savings to support your lifestyle or your expenses for that matter before you actually find that job. So I personally don't recommend anyone leaves their job without actually having in the bank account 6 months of savings. Now, if you want to know how you can calculate the 6 months of savings, if you want to know how much money do you really have at the moment, I did include a link to the article of this video, and I actually dig deeper there. In that article, I show you examples, I show you formulas, I show you everything that you need to know in that article. The second main factor here is actually, did you consider the legalities and logistics? And what I mean by that is really just, if you are an expat who's working in the UAE, then you most probably have a working visa. And if you quit your job, then your working visa gets canceled. And that means you need to leave the country without giving you enough time to look for a job. So this needs to be considered. And I do give some answers, some possible solutions, which I don't recommend any. I'm just saying these are the ones that are available. You can find them also in the article in the link below. Now, the third main factor is, who are you holding with you? And what I mean by that, there are people who are dependent on you. That could be your wife, be your husband, that family, that whatever it is. Some people are dependent on you. There's a lot of factors in terms of family and people who are dependent on you. So you need to consider that. Now, the fourth major factor is side hustling. Did you consider side hustling before you even quit your job? Now you might ask me, why is side hustling important for me deciding to quit my job or not? Because having that extra source of income is actually important. You don't know for sure when are you going to find that new job. So you really want to have an extra source of income that might support you for 1 month or 2 months extra, or it might become your full hustle. You never know. The fifth major factor here: do you have a job search plan? Do you have a plan before you quit your job? Do you have a plan? Do you know who you are going to contact? How are you going to contact them? What is the job title that you're looking for? Do you know someone who already is in that field and you can ask them questions about that field? Do you have that plan put together before you even quit that job? You don't want to quit that job without having a plan. So this is the checkpoint time. Did you consider all of these major factors? If you passed all of them and you considered them in your mind at least, then it's time to go to the next step, step number 3. Step number 3 is, did you evaluate other factors? What I mean by that is each person is different. They have their own situations, they have their own responsibilities, priorities, and so on. So what other factors do you have in your life that you need to consider? I'll give you 2 examples off the top of my head. Number 1, do you have a loan or a mortgage, and you need to make sure you are consistently paying that loan or mortgage on time? Then you better consider that before you quit your job, because quitting your job without a job offer means you're stopping your income. So that's an important thing. Another example is you might have a medical condition in your family, and the insurance that is provided by your company is paying for that medical condition treatment, and it's extremely expensive. You cannot afford it, but because of that medical insurance, you're able to get the treatment. So you also need to consider that. So the question to you is, what are these factors that you are considering or you need to consider that are apart from the major factors? So now that you considered all of the factors, major ones, other ones, it's time for step number 4. The 4th step here is ask an expert. An expert here is someone who has been through the same experience. It could be someone who got fired and stayed looking for a job for about 3 to 6 months. He's someone who's been through the experience, and he can give you a perspective. And that's very powerful. Someone who's been through the experience can give you an emotional perspective and a technical perspective. As in, I felt that and I know that you were going to feel okay after it. Or you're feeling some fear, he can show you why you're feeling that fear because he's been through that experience. Again, this person is going to give you a very powerful perspective. Now, if you want to know how you can find these people, you might or might not know these people, that's fine. I actually have, if you click on the link below, you can find how you can find these people, where you can find them, what script, like I actually have a script for you. You can take that script, fill in some blanks there, and send it to these people through the steps that I provided to you, and you can get connected to these people, and they will definitely want to help you. And the last step, make a decision. Now that you've gone through all of these things and studied them, talked to someone about them, thought about them, gone through the exams and the tests and the quizzes and the questions, I think that you've considered a lot of the factors that make this decision easier for you. Now, keep in mind, you need to make a decision, and that doesn't mean there is a right or wrong decision, just like I mentioned before. It's actually your decision. You can take that decision, whether it's leaving that job or not leaving that job. But consider all of these factors because they are important. And don't forget, be patient. If you are leaving your job, you need to be patient, because searching for a job takes time and it needs diligence and work and sticking to a certain process that you created for yourself to look for a job. Now it's your turn. What would you do if you are thinking to quit your job and you don't have a job offer in hand? Hey guys, I hope you liked what you just watched. If you are interested to learn more, there's a website here that you can check out. It's my name, udaylaher.com, and there are actually 2 things that I would want you to check out. One is I have a guide that helps people with less experience and tells them how can they create experience for themselves without them having a full-time job or being actually employed. So that's one thing that I want you to check out. And the second thing is I created a checklist for you when you create the resume or the CV that you want to send for a job application. I created the ultimate CV checklist or the resume checklist that you can download and use for free for you to check out your resume. That's it. I hope you guys liked this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and see you next time.